This is Mario Kart Wii, and what you are looking at right now is the out of bounds of DS Delfino Square. Doesn't something about this spot of the map feel just a bit off? Like this street should be bustling with the characters who live in the very buildings we see surrounding the area, yet looking at it, it is completely empty with no one to be seen, making things feel quite uncanny. This is exactly what a liminal space is, and there are plenty more examples of locations just like this one in more out-of-bounds territories in the game, such as the similar street a bit further up. Again, this out-of-bounds area is strangely lacking signs of an active community, when it realistically should be vibrant and lively. Perhaps that's what makes these areas feel the way they feel. As being out of bounds, you aren't meant to see these places from such a close view, which explains why the developers didn't add any characters or any other details here. But it still doesn't change the empty, almost sad feeling that comes from actually being back here. Especially when close by in the main part of the track, the atmosphere is completely different. It truly makes you realize just how much the character's presence can play such a role in the feeling of playing these tracks. Even the lighting in these spots highlight the empty feeling we get from viewing it from this perspective, as for some reason it's noticeably duller than the main road. That sense of abandonment only increases from here. We are now in Wario's gold mine. This entire track is one giant liminal space, as it's an active gold mine and residential mining town with literally no one apart from a few bats to be seen anywhere. Walking along the countless houses at the bottom of the course, there's nobody to be seen at all despite the chimney tubes of the residences looking active. Maybe this place is stuck in 2020, who knows. I didn't realize just how deep the bottom of this course goes. This area here kinda reminds me of Buried from Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Zombies for anyone who's played that game. Looking over at where the town ends is super trippy. It's like it just leads to a cliff that drops off into darkness, when in actuality it's just the edge of the map. Viewing the inside of the mine from this perspective really makes me realize how this track is so barren. There's all these minecarts moving across the cave, yet nobody to be seen running the place. Going to the bottom of the cave is just insanely lonely, and almost ominous. It really gives off abandoned cave vibes, especially with these minecart tracks just leading to nothing and the others into pure darkness. And keeping on with the theme of darkness, we are here in Moonview Highway. The city, of course, is beaming with light. Yet again, there's just no presence of any characters here. It's honestly very surprising when you think about it, as you can't really get more populated than a literal city. Even the cars don't have anyone driving them as far as we can see. The only characters we actually know of are the Miis here, which were really only added to make the tolls move along. I want to take a second here to just look at how beautiful this site is. They really don't call it Moonview Highway for nothing. Just look at that reflection in the water. Although the funny thing is that's not even a reflection. They literally added another moon to pull this off, which I definitely appreciate. But I'm getting sidetracked. The main thing I wanted to show off is this completely empty road above the one we usually race on. A common theme of a liminal space is being a place meant for people to pass through, but obviously instead being empty, and this perfectly embodies that. They must have decided not to add any cars or trucks here because of course you're never supposed to get up here, which makes it feel so weird, especially towards the end as it leads us out the city and the road just abruptly stops before this hill. It's almost like this city was supposed to be expanded upon here, and they built a road for it but just abandoned it before building any skyscrapers, leaving it completely forgotten. We're now on the Battle Course Delfino Pier. This location just has so much empty space. You can see so many boats that logically should have characters on them, but don't, making this entire area feel abandoned. I must say, most battle tracks are pretty minimal, but this one is far from. Just look at the expanse of the pier. Honestly, this track is my sole motivator for visiting Italy one day, as it's pretty evident that this area takes after Venice. Again, it's just super weird that these boats are basically just parked in the middle of the water like this. How is anybody supposed to get to them? And I talked about this in my last video, but these gondolas were actually meant to have piantas on them in this course. But that sadly got scrapped in development. Over on either side of the map, we have some pretty big areas that are just completely empty, and they go pretty far back. It's actually pretty calm, but you quickly start to feel lonely being back here for too long. No boats, nothing. They even made this area all the way over here completely isolated from everything else. Finally, we have Coconut Mall. This location has so much to look at as it's one of the most detail-orientated tracks in all of Mario Kart Wii. Looking outside the mall, the road here stretches for ages with no cars or anything. It's even emptier than that road on Moonview Highway, and it eventually just leads to nothing on both sides. Looking back at the course through this point of view makes the mall feel so isolated. It's like it's miles out from anything in the middle of nowhere. And I guess that's because it technically is. However, as we get closer to the mall, it obviously starts to feel more normal. We got some piantas and plenty of cars around, but I also wanted to take a look at this part over here that again feels a bit lonely and forgotten. I actually used to live near a mall that eventually closed down, being left completely abandoned, and I would sometimes drive by there and just take in the complete emptiness of a place I used to see having hundreds, if not thousands of people at all times. And for some reason, this spot is very reminiscent of that place. That is often a defining feeling of a liminal space, when the area reminds you of a familiar place you vaguely remember. And I think that gets even more exacerbated with these liminal spaces in video games, especially when we all grew up playing these games and nostalgia is kind of mixed in there. This is random too, but I realized this here is meant to be an inaccessible entrance because you can actually see shops on the wall as if you're looking into the mall. That really shows again how detail oriented this track is. Anyways, looking inside the mall, we can see so many rooms you simply never could see in normal circumstances. This area just above the entrance is so weird. It's kind of just enclosed with a railing as if people are meant to be looking down, kind of like the Miis do in the main parts of the track, but instead this place is just weirdly empty. But it does exist. Over in this room, I'm almost surprised they added Miis here. Although I'm seeing it must have been a really quick addition, as you can see some of them are standing over the railing. But anyways, it's surprising because the rest of this area is so empty, and really starts to give off that abandoned mall energy. Especially on the lower levels with all the shops that are here, yet there's just nothing else to be seen. Just complete emptiness. Some of you might know the main room actually has a bottom level that you usually go out of bounds in when you're playing in a normal race. Coming down here, it just feels so lonely. And it's noticeably darker down here, but it still has shops and even flowers. This place definitely looks designed for people, but has nobody. This right here reminds me so much of the back rooms. It's even got the yellow color. Also, I better not see any spoilers, because I still haven't seen the movie yet. Further on below these steps here, there's weirdly two shops just chilling in the darkness here. The brick wall here kind of makes me think that this is an old part of the mall that got abandoned, like they redesigned Coconut Mall at some point and left these two shops here to be forgotten. These spots just feel so weird compared to the usual craziness of Coconut Mall. I think that's enough liminal spaces for today. I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video. I wanted to give a shout out to Pleura, who made a similar video about the loneliest corners of Mario Kart Wii, where he showed off some obscure inbounds areas of some tracks. His video definitely gave me inspiration to explore this game more, and I highly recommend you check out his channel, as he makes some pretty awesome and quite underrated content on other games too. With that said, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all around. Oh, this job is so boring. I haven't had a customer in ages. Huh? Well, at least someone's having fun.